to be Nigeria. Rivers State, I am proud to be Nigeria. Imo State, I am proud to be Nigeria. Anambra, I am proud to be.
Is there any relationship between the political ideas of Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu with respect to the building of Lagos State? Can Chief Obafemi Awolowo be seen in the political ideology and style of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Did Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu ever discard the progressive ideas of Obafemi Awolowo in his quest towards building Lagos State?
In 1999, you had 5 AD governors elect. A group of us who knew Awo's thoughts, who read his works, and who knew Awo fairly well, got together, and people generated papers on different parts of Awo philosophy of governance. So they gave us these papers. So we invited the 5 governors elect to meet with us at the press center, Yagoku, Ibadan. We wanted to go through these papers, have a seminar, a workshop on these papers. Only Ahmed Bola Tinubu came from Lagos. We gave him all the papers to take away. All the papers, different aspects of governance by Chief Awolowo, written by people who knew Awolowo very well. He went back to Lagos and submitted the paper to the central committee set up on governance, headed by Professor Olikoyi Ransom Kuti.
Can you please tell us that story?
Thank you very much. The AD, Alliance for Democracy, then won all the gubernatorial seats of the old Western region. And Abraham Adesoya, Ayo Adebanjo, Pa Olaniwon Ajayi, and many others were advocating progressivism and the social commitment to Awolowo's principle and on development. I was the only one who turned up, and they gave me the sketchy volume. I want to thank Felix Adenaike and all the technocrats present discussing. Even though I have my own idea of where I wanted to go. But if you don't learn from the past, how can you affect the present? That is my own, belief and philosophy. So I brought it. We have 5 months before the military government will hand over. I have my international contact. I have my, local contacts and my friends. And from there, as a man who has only been in corporate life, I've never worked for a Nigerian company. I was trained by Deloitte and Touche, one of the best accounting firms in the world. I have my idea. I worked for the biggest oil company as Auditor General and as the Treasurer, the ExxonMobil. So where are those backgrounds? I look at what it gave me. My vision of governance is clear on what I want to do. Yes, you cannot tilt today's need with yesterday's tool. But you can take a yesterday's idea and thinking and transform into today and the future's program. And that is my belief. So within that 5 months, I've activated my contacts out of this country, including the Americans. Corporate Council on Africa. I came back, set up, instead of going on holiday and relaxing on the hectic nature of the campaign that we have been through, because it was a fiercely competitive campaign for us in Lagos. So I set up a transition committee. First of all, thank to leadership like Uncle Femi Okuno and many of them who responded. I picked some of these great minds who had known the history of Lagos to chair each of the committees and reduce the entire program to 10-point agenda. 10-point agenda, that 10-point agenda to reform, conquer, and translate Lagos to economically viable state became a Bible of governance. And in the school, one day I reduced it to a pocket-sized item. No government has existed since then without that little pocketbook.
You give them mandates. This is what you're supposed to look at. This is what you're supposed to look at. This is what who looked at judiciary and law enforcement. That was my own committee. I was secretary. Priscilla Kuye, was chair. Okay. She was chairman of my own subcommittee. I was secretary. There was Kola Oda in there. There was Tunde Odoye. What's her name? This lady who is an SAN, Nade Koya. Funke Adekoya SAN. She was there too. You know, that was a committee that was set up. Okay. We did the work. We read
your recommendations were followed.
Oh yeah, to the letter. No, we had as soon as we finished the recommend. Of course, fortunately, I became Attorney General, so I had a very clear roadmap of what we should do, following from the work of the committee, and I effected it to the letter. I did. I mean, there were, of course, as you went along, a few other things you would do, but after 4 years, I told her, well, our work is done. We had finished everything we wanted to do. Everything we said we would do, we had done. One of the things that Shiwaju did was that most of us who participated in the policy committees became commissioners. Edwin, Finance, Cardoso, Budget and Economic Planning, Arepe, Works, all of that. Most of us who participated in the policy also went on to become commissioners. And there was a buy-in, including Lai Mohammed. There was a buy-in because we were involved in formulating policy. So we already had a buy-in. So at all times we met. Even outside of cabinet meetings, we were always meeting, trying to get the government moving in a particular direction that we had, that we had conceived originally. But you see, Ashiwaju is a visionary now. It's not someone who was constrained by the past. Even the past the Yorubas had experienced, he wasn't constrained by it. He wasn't, and it was important that he wasn't constrained by history, So he was able to reach across to the different zones. He cut across the north, the south, east easily. And was important, and very important, because even the concept, even the way that he designed the cabinet, bringing in people like me from Oyo State, Akabueze, in fact, the first commissioner for land, Sathawari, was Solicitor General under me, and then became commissioner for land. Bola Ahmed from Delta, You see, the thing is that he was so visionary, had a global view rather than any kind of small parochial sort of view, and helped a great deal because he already developed a leadership style, a leadership ethos. He already, had put in, so coming out of Lagos, very confident people who had been in the public service. We started off with 600 million naira in IGR, 600 million a month.
That was what we started.
That's what we started with, yes. By the time we were leaving, we were up to about almost 5 billion or 6 billion. I think we're even in excess of that. Of course, by the end of Fashola, already touching close to the 30s, from 600 million. So Lagos State is possibly the only state that can wave aside federal allocation and can survive on its own. I mean, it's a sub-national that operates like a nation state.
What we see now, the foundations were laid then, the planning, the implementation, the strategy, and the strategic goals and policies that are being followed today were really laid down in 1999. To be precise, what happened was after Ashwabi had won the election, there were about 5 months between the winning of the election and the handover. And he spent that time putting together work groups, and that essentially brought together the best you have in Lagos in all fields. We had the grand elders like Alhaji Femi Okunu, the late Chief Molade Okoya Thomas, and many others like that. And then you had the top professionals, you had the top lawyers, doctors, Dr. Ransom Kuti, and so on and so forth. So you had the best and the brightest come together to plan the future direction and economy of Lagos. In those 5 months, a blueprint was laid down and is being implemented today. So if you look at what is happening in terms of the emphasis on infrastructure, the emphasis on a enabling environment, the emphasis on private-public sector partnership, investment by government, investment by the private sector, all those key building blocks were laid down by Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu's team in 1999.
The guy is seriously, in my view, seriously underestimated. It's just seriously. I think one of the very few Nigerians who has shown the capacity to build institutions, capacity to build economies, is one of the very few who's shown that capacity. And if you can do that in Lagos State, look at what has happened. Look at Lagos State. You can't compare it to any other state.
I brought in Wale Edu, Yemi Kadoso. I brought in all the professionals that I've known or known are recommended by people to pull the idea together. All I needed was my own vision, social welfare program of the Awolowo's idea. We did that. We did a lot of work moving from one segment of the economy to the other. I am very, very proud to be a foundation engineer, a foundation leader coordinating, and whatever has happened, I will commend those people. Leadership is about teamship and the vision. The vision must be clear. The team must be ready to work. Therefore, you need a thinker and a doer in every leadership position.
Nigeria, tí gbogbo wa ní.